Since the birth of its existence, Film Seizure has been regarded with fear, suspicion, and hatred. Hello, I'm Chuck Moore. With me, as always, are my hosts, Jeff Arbuckle. Jeff, who's taking a drink. How are you?
Yeah. How's it going?
Going well. Going well. How you dealing with that hatred and fear over there?
I mean, as well as I have all my life. So, yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. And Jason Oliver. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Hey, how are you? These are the voyages of the Starship Cerebro.
Starship Cerebro. So, we are in week 4.
Oh, man, we should say that you should have said you were with your Cerebros.
My Cerebros. Yeah. I am with my Cerebros.
It's still good.
I'm not that clever.
You usually are, though.
You usually are. That's the disappointing thing here. Yeah.
Gotta leave some for the rest of you. So, yes, we're in week 4 of comic book graphic novel month. And this week we are covering another second movie instead of the first in X2 or X-Men United or whatever you want to call it.
X-Men 2. Yeah.
It's got a lot of names for some reason. Loosely based, maybe not loosely, but semi-based on God Loves, Man Kills, which is like a beloved Chris Claremont.
That is a real good graphic novel.
Yes, a graphic novel where Stryker tries to kill all the mutants, basically. So that is like most of what this is based on is that idea. Yep. In God Loves, Man Kills, Stryker's like a religious fanatic.
Yeah, he's like a televangelist of sorts. Yeah.
Yeah, which kind of makes the inclusion and importance of Nightcrawler a little more important in God Loves, Man Kills, because there's like opposition in the evangelical sense, but he's still well used here in one of the best opening scenes in a superhero movie ever, hands down.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I can't think of a better opening scene in a comic booky movie.
Maybe the Dark Knight. Like the Dark Knight is really good, but this Nightcrawler shit in the beginning of this movie is insane, and it's like nothing we had ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing this and being like, "Holy shit!"
And
it immediately, yeah, and it immediately sets a tone too, right? Like this is the style of our movie. Everybody's powers are going to be on display. People, you don't even know really who they are unless you're comic book people. You're going to see some powers from them.
Yes. Well, I mean, we'll talk about this, I think, throughout the movie, but it is one of the better superhero movies ever made. Like top 3 for me, probably.
I mean, it's this and Spider-Man 2, Batman 89, and the first Superman. I mean, those are, when you're talking about like the original superhero movies, there's no movies better than those 4.
So you mean like prior to the Dark Knight? Like that would be in my top.
I would probably put Dark Knight probably 5th at that point. I guess I should say, I would say maybe pre-2008, because then 2008 you had both Dark Knight and Iron Man. Those changed.
They kind of ushered in the new era of superheroes.
It was, we can be real serious about this, but with Iron Man, we can give you some comic booky stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've talked about the Dark Knight. That does it differently, for sure. But we had an episode on that one. So go back and visit if you'd like. Travis joins us on that one.
Yeah, go do that. And we also talked about all the Superman movies, all the ones prior to releasing this year that I consider real Superman movies.
Right. Yes. Yes. That leaves out the
non-Superman
Henry Cavill's, basically the Henry
Cavill. Poor guy deserved better than he got. But
he did, because he looked the part. He really did. Yeah. He had the gravitas. He had he was good. He could have been one of our truly great Supermans.
Yeah, I think Brandon Routh could have been too if he was given more time.
I think he was wonderful. Yeah. He was wonderful.
Brandon Routh deserved better.
Superman is just hard to do, so we'll see.
Routh had more of that, like, country bumpkin Clark Kent thing going. And that's what I'm hoping we get from the new one, which I'm hearing through the grapevine that we're getting a very homespun Superman, which I'm excited about.
Yeah. And we should also say that by the time you're listening to this episode, we already know, but we don't know at this time.
That's fair.
We're a couple of days out yet before finding out.
But we'll talk about that later. Sometime.
Maybe we'll talk about that sometime. Maybe. But X-Men United, X2, X-Men 2, 2003, again, like, was mind-blowing when it came out. Like, I think past, like, Spider-Man 2, we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, was, like, the first step towards this. And then this was like, whoa. Well, Spider-Man 2 came out the year after this one.
Yeah, the year. I always mix that up. Why didn't you do those in order?
Because I chose them how I chose them.
I think, man, it's kind of hard to compare the two, honestly. Spider-Man 2 and X2. Because they both perfectly capture the comic they're representing for the time.
I think that's it. Like, since Spider-Man or since Superman, like, nobody had really shown they could perfectly capture the comic book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There were superhero movies that were fun. Like, I wouldn't even say Batman in the late 80s was like a perfect representation of Batman.
because it left out the detective side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that, iconic in its own ways.
Yes. But this is, again, Bryan Singer returns for this one. This is the last X-Men movie I think he directed. Mm-hmm. He never came back, right?
No.
I know Brett Ratner did the third.
Yeah, he left this to go do Superman.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Kind of surprising. I remember thinking at the time, like, we've lost Bryan Singer forever from, like, making...
No, he made that choice on his own.
We have also lost Bryan Singer forever.
forget that part of it, right? But, like, he was one of my favorite directors, and he made This is a great movie too. And then he went on to do Superman, and it's like, man, this guy used to make good, like, original properties, and we've lost him prior to the other bullshit that we hate Bryan Singer for. But well, he really never made anything original other than Usual Suspects, if you really want to think about it. Yeah, I guess That People isn't original.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. But we did get that from him.
We did, indeed.
Yeah.
I almost these days attribute it more to Chris McQuarrie than anything, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a hell of a script he wrote.
It is a hell of a script. In really great acting from another guy.
From another guy.
We've lost forever.
God, they're like their own fucking Sinister 2, you know?
Yeah. The real Kaiser Soze.
Oh, Jesus.
But anyway. X-Men 2, 2003, I definitely saw this in the theaters. It's one of the few movies I think while I was living in California that I was like, I have to go to this movie. So I took the bus up to Claremont or wherever, and watched it in the theater, which, man, again, we already kind of talked about that opening scene, but seeing that on the big screen was like, it just blew me away. I assume you guys probably saw this in the theater.
Yeah,
I did. You were like working at the theater, which I feel like I might have seen an employee screening of this even.
It's possible. It is possible. I definitely built the print. I mean, I did that. So
hell yeah.
I'm pretty sure that would have been right around that time where I was hitting a lot of those employee screenings at AMC.
Yep.
Was it GC still then?
No.
Was it AMC? It was AMC.
It was AMC. It changed over in 2001, I think. Okay.
Interesting. So go ahead, Jeff.
One thing I was going to ask you, Chuck, because I mean, okay, so you're the big X-Men fan of the three of us, I would say. You know, I mean, I'm wearing an Avengers shirt, so I came dressed appropriately.
I kind of have all the Avengers on my shirt too.
Oh, you got like a Marvel shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Okay. But So, generally speaking, how do you feel? Let's just say about the first two X-Men. Let's not bring in any of the others. Let's talk about just like the first two movies. How did you feel about that as an X-Men fan? Did you? I mean,
I think okay. So I kind of alluded to this last night. I rewatched the first one to get prepared for this one because I figured it deserved like having that continuity of Xavier, Magneto, all that, and I hadn't seen it in a long time. I think the first time I watched it, I liked it, the first one, but was also a little disappointed being a knowing fan of all the ground you have to go over and all the like. Even Wolverine is kind of like, you know, like, I don't really like this Wolverine that much. And the fact that he's not this rough and tumble, dirty little fucker, you know, like, but come the second movie.
The way he's protective of Rogue, though, is really good.
It is really good.
They swapped her out from Kitty Pryde.
Right. Yeah.
Which I guess makes a whole lot of sense. You need Rogue to deliver this story, right? Like the second story for sure. But
she's more popular than Kitty Pryde in the mainstream, I would say.
Yeah, and I think the other point that I kind of disliked about both of these movies the first time is that so many of the interesting X-Men are children.
Yeah.
And they don't play major roles in the story. And it's kind of like, man, we're missing so many of the good ones. But when the second one comes out with the Nightcrawler thing, it's like, okay, now we're really diving into like X-Men that need to be here and they're using their powers and it's cool.
Even the students get their time to shine, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Really, one of my favorite scenes in X2 is the students after Wolverine gets shot.
So it's great. Yep. And also I love Colossus's scene in this.
Yeah, I do too. I wish there was more of him because he was a favorite of mine back then.
It's on the cutting room floor.
Yeah. I know, because that whole kind of subplot just kind of dies on the vine.
Right, the kids.
The moment they fork off into two different directions, that part ends.
Yeah, you can definitely feel like they probably shot more there. Yeah.
So overall, I'd say a little disappointment, but super excited that the X-Men were on the big screen. Like there's no way around that.
And I mean, Hugh Jackman just looked the part, right? Like a lot of these characters, a lot of these actors looked the part. I mean, of course, Magneto and Professor Xavier were just like, oh my God, could it be anyone else, right? I mean, that Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart was just like, whoa, that was good casting, and I should have led with that. More and more of that. Like you could tell that they had a lot of the right feel for the material, but it felt a little bit hamstrung by how do we introduce this franchise to a mass audience.
Because it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit. Like, not that the X-Men weren't huge in their own right, but they aren't Spider-Man, they aren't Superman, they aren't Batman. Like, you really do need to kind of introduce them to everybody. I just didn't love the way it was done.
In a way, though, like Guardians of the Galaxy had the opposite problem. They had a property that wasn't necessarily known to a lot of people, and they could do whatever the fuck they wanted. Like,
well, it's not even the actual Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it's not.
It was after that movie that team in the comics became the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
So that was almost just like pure imagination, right? There was a freedom. I feel like Springer and who wrote the first one? We're probably just like terrified of how do we fucking even do this, because it's such a beloved property, right?
I almost assume it was a different team, but I'd have to look it up because it feels like this movie, they get it better anyways.
100%. But I think that was like a practice makes perfect kind of thing.
That could certainly be. And again, you did need to like introduce these characters, and the powers aren't straightforward, and everyone has a different one, and blah blah blah. So it does make for hard storytelling. Go ahead, Jeff. I stopped you twice.
No. I was just the reason why I asked is, there is a relatively large contingent of X-Men comic book fans, like deep X-Men comic book fans, who really do not like any of these movies.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I mean, we know somebody, Adam, who used to call the first one Wolvie and his ex-pals.
Right.
Because, and he complained heavily that they didn't start with the original X-Men. And it's like, come on, dude. Nobody cares about Warren Worthington III.
Yeah, I don't want to see Archangel.
Yeah, nobody cares about that guy. Nobody knows who Hank McCoy is. You know, it's like, you have to have Wolverine there. You know, it's like, and if you do that, then you just blow it up and you have whoever else is going to be popular, particularly from the 90s cartoon.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the X-Men, you know, and
it is kind of that like superstars of the comic instead of like a team. But
I mean, and it's you know, I mean, and I think also there is a certain element of, it was going to be always really hard for some of these folks to really get into the X-Men movies, because unlike the Avengers, kind of unlike Spider-Man, the X-Men always benefited from three things. One, they had a very successful TV series, which could, two, adapt all of those iconic stories in their own ways, which, three, because the X-Men corner of the universe, or of the Marvel universe, was like basically half their publishing line, it had a massive amount of stories and a massive amount of drama, a massive amount of character development that a 2-hour movie isn't gonna, can't do. I mean, you have to just adapt the feel of it all, and that's not gonna always appease everyone.
Plus, you had to do Chris Claremont. You had to, like, you couldn't have done, like, not that the Kirby and Stan Lee stuff wasn't good, but it, like, Claremont is who made the X-Men.
Yeah,
he made the X-Men what they are today. So you had to do Claremont. Yeah,
and I think also there's a lot of people. I remember 25 years ago, everybody that was a major X-Men fan is like, oh, they don't have their outfits, and it's like, guys, we just survived the 90s of comic book movies. You can't have Wolverine out there in bright yellow. And
would you prefer yellow spandex? Is a great line.
Exactly.
The first one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you know, so it's like,
well, just this is all of Wolverine's is kind of eye rolling at all of it. And the first movie is really funny. Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, Marvel just had only one success. It's not like DC had like 4 Superman movies, a couple of Batman movies, then it went to shit. Although arguably half the Superman movies went to shit too. But like Marvel is like, we're lucky
to get it right.
It's like we got lucky with Blade, and now we're bringing out the heavy hitters. We can't lose the mainstream here. We can't lose the layman on this.
I think 70% of the people that saw Blade probably didn't even know that it was a Marvel property unless they were paying attention. Right?
I think that number is a lot higher.
maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like 90%.
Most definitely.
I don't even think I knew, and I was a comic book reader.
Yeah.
I mean, I found out, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was just lucky enough to know. It's like, oh yeah, I think that's a comic book character, and then didn't take long to realize, I was right. But even that, I mean, I'd never read a Blade comic until after that movie. But and also, I think some people take umbrage with how Cyclops is portrayed in these movies.
I don't love him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not that much of a goody two shoes.
Yeah.
He's not, and he's not even really the leader you expect Scott to be in these movies. And of course, one of the really cool things about the comic book throughout history is that Xavier is teaching him how to be a leader a lot. Yeah. Right? But you don't even see that necessarily. He's just like, you two figure this out. I'm going to fuck off to this other thing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, they made him too much of an opposite to Wolverine. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, I know a lot of people whose favorite X-Man is Scott Summers, not Wolverine. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like Wolverine, don't get me wrong, but it's like...
There was a long time in comics before Hickman started writing X-Men where I didn't care about how anyone treated Scott Summers. But this movie at least got one part of him, well, it's not necessarily him, but that the triangle. The triangle, this movie gets really, really good.
It does.
Like
the love triangle,
and it makes the love triangle, and it makes Scott Summers a little more interesting of a character because of it. That is going on in the first movie. It's just like he's Iceman from Top Gun.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
It sets up some pretty fun moments though, like the it's me, prove it. And he is like, you're a dick.
You're a dick. Yeah. Yes. Like the second movie, they do get it a lot better. Or is that the first one?
That's the first.
That's the first
You're right.
one.
It's the end of the first one. You're right.
Yeah. It's when they get to the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he also uses his claws, the middle finger.
Yeah.
I know you guys.
There's a lot of middle fingers in this franchise because the Mystique's middle finger in the same
under the door.
Oh
yeah, so good. God, she's awesome in that scene. Oh, so cool.
Oh,
Mystique is another character
Magneto's.
They really get good.
Yes,
she's good. You have no idea.
Yeah, his Magneto's reverence for her is very nice.
Yeah. I just love them like over in the corner of the jet, like
giggling
whispering to each other and giggling. It's just the best, man.
Yeah.
You're just being little bitches over there. Yeah.
Totally.
But then I mean I didn't even write it down, but Magneto has that great line for Johnny or Pyro.
For Pyro, yeah.
Pyro, which we'll get to that point.
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I get to say it.
Yeah. No, I mean, not necessarily being deep into the X-Men stuff because I couldn't afford all of what the X-Men were doing.
There's a lot.
There was a lot there. It was like, I like my Spidey, I like my Thor, I like my Captain America and Avengers. I've for 40 years have stuck to that.
Right.
But you like what you like, right? But I certainly do not. I don't look at X-Men fans and roll my eyes and think of them as like rivals or anything. It's like, no, we all live in this universe. That's just your side, and I like mine. It's like living on like that's your next door neighbor, right? It's like we have this.
I've always been on both sides. It's so weird, like because. And I'm agreeing with you that there probably is a delineation for most people that like they're either X-Men fans and they don't want the rest of the Marvel universe fucking with it. Like when the Fantastic Four show up and they try to take Franklin, it's like, fuck off.
Right.
He's a mutant. Fuck you. But so I'm getting too deep into the weeds. But actually, we might see Franklin soon. I assume he's going to be in the new Fantastic Four. They mention a pregnancy.
Yeah, in the trailer, Sue goes from being skinny to looking like she's about to pop to skinny again. So I think I have a feeling that there's a crossover that happens because of a little baby.
And I feel like that little baby is going to be a very huge part of Phase 5 or 6.
Yeah,
for sure. So. Maybe even Legion too. We'll see.
It could be. I mean, just throwing it out there. Perhaps, mayhaps, the existence of Franklin creates a whole bunch of different types of people. If you know what I mean.
Probably does. Or at least brings them out of the woodwork too.
Or brings them, into the open.
Yeah. But so back to X-Men. If we're just talking about in general social justice stuff, this is about marginalized people. This is about people who are hated. Like the line I said about Film Seizure was actually about X-Men at the beginning there, if you didn't know that.
What?
But that is present here. And that's what this movie is all about, right? We have the
Mutant Registration Act.
Yes, which was started by what's his name in the first movie?
Senator Kelly,
thank you, who died in that movie but is still present in this film.
Yeah, he got gooified in the first one.
Oh my god, that effect is actually really good. And if they ever did Blob in a movie, that's what he should look like, which is Yeah, another mutant. Sorry, go ahead.
I have a note about that because what was the actual plan? Was the plan because clearly whatever they were doing wasn't stable. So if the idea is to make other people mutants who have power, then they would then obviously side with the mutants eventually because they were them.
They had to.
They were mutants, but because they had to, right? But that machine turned the senator into.
But Magneto didn't know that Senator Kelly died. Okay. So he was going to go forward with the plan to change all of the people because
could have told him.
Who?
I don't know.
The only people that knew was the X-Men.
He wears the helmet. Charles can't beam that shit in there.
Yeah.
That is a movie only thing, though.
That kind of bugs me though. But is that the plan was always flawed?
Yeah, I mean he didn't.
Well, I mean, villains' plans tend.
The plan X2 is a fucking good one. This one is not so good. The one from X1.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, villain plans often go astray due to some sniffing your own farts high on your own supply shit, you know.
Yeah.
Magneto was doomed to fail, and also he only had one really smart partner in that whole scheme. Yeah, he's not really working with a great team here.
I mean, the smartest thing to do is what ended up happening. Like, knock off the senator and replace him with Mystique. Boom. You know? It's like...
Well, that was a happy accident.
But that's that's a way easier plan, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I think you assume that Magneto was murderous to start. He wasn't.
Well, no, I'm not assuming he was.
Well, I mean, I don't think he'd kill Kelly and then replace him. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't. He's murdered people before for sure, but I think from the
he certainly does in this movie.
I think he's pretty utilitarian. He's pretty utilitarian. I would say he probably would have sacrificed the one for the many.
Here's my angle on what I think, at least in my headcanon, can work well for the whole thing in the first one. He turns regular people into mutants. And basically knowing that some of them at least are going to die because their cells aren't going to be able to handle the mutation, would say, well, at least now you know what the hell you put us through, because now you're going to suffer for it, and you're going to also be a weirdo pile of goo, and I don't care that you are now having to be ostracized by other normal people.
It's a bad plan. You have to align. It's a bad plan though, because that's always going to.
It's a comic book.
It's always going to be perceived as a terrorist attack by the non-mutant community.
For like 25 years, Magneto was nothing but a terrorist. So
I'm just saying it's a bad. Plan.
I think the fact that like Jeff is saying, it's a comic booky plan. Like the fact that it happens out in the open was going to doom it anyway, because there had to be a bad guy.
Generally,
and the bad guy was going to be a mutant. Like if he had changed them all behind the scenes, and they survived and had to then retract their statements on mutants, would have been a lot better. Yeah,
sure. Generally, my point is that I like X2 at almost every level better.
Sure. It's a better movie by a lot.
It's a better movie. It looks better. It's written better.
So better. And I wonder, you got obviously the Chris Claremont, but you also have Zach Penn and Michael Dougherty involved with the writing of this one. I think you just have a second level of input that was really important. More money always helps. I think $50 million more dollars went into this one.
It was about 35 million more.
I think it depends on the projection.
Because the first one did good, right?
The first one made about 300 million out of 75, between 250 and 300. Yeah. This one gets a little bit of a boost, and it gets a whole lot more.
Yep.
Right. And people will scoff at $300 million. But back then that was that's
a lot of money 25 years ago.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's a good profit. It really does look a lot better. Newton Thomas Cycle, he was DP on both. He also was DP on Usual Suspects. A lot of other really good stuff. But The Doors, Platoon. But I don't know if he really... it felt a little bit like he wasn't sure what to do with the first X-Men. It was all very gray. I felt like, man, the second one though, X2, it looks so good. It also helps that there's a lot more locations, so that gives him a little bit more dynamic range.
And the special effects and daytime scenes look good, which usually you try to hide
the special effects, even over 2 years, I mean, that team was kind of figuring it out probably as they were going, and it looks better. Yeah.
So you didn't like all that stuff in the Yukon Territory in the first movie? All the snow and gray up there?
I mean, it's fine. But...
Bar fights?
I mean, it's good for Wolverine movie, for sure.
Exactly. Sure. Now, see, this is why I didn't watch the first one. I didn't have to. I've seen both of these movies a ton.
Right. It's been a long time since I'd seen either of these. It was fun revisiting.
I should have. You know what I should have done? I should have opened up a bag of jerky here and was eating that while watching. That's some Wolverine food.
You should have. Food in her. Anna Paquin in her not great accent.
No.
Yeah. Which we were joking, like, ironically, her accent from True Blood is way more rogue than her accent as Rogue.
Yep, she got better.
Yep.
She got better.
And it's like reading the X-Men comics, and the accent is always like Claremont was really good at putting that accent in, like whether it was her or Gambit or
Logan.
Not so much Logan. I'm thinking of a Banshee. Or Moira, her Scottish accent.
Yeah.
And it's like I always took that to mean that it was like almost ridiculous level accent because of the way it's so accented in the comic. And so like reading it, like if I ever tried to read it out loud, I would sound like a crazy person.
And sometimes you'd have to think about it. What are they actually saying here?
What are the actual words? Yeah, it's like whenever you had like Banshee or Moira with their Irish and Scottish accents, like I have no idea what these two are saying.
No, we'll just have to forget and hope it's not important.
It's not important.
This was one of my few critiques of the X-Men 97 animated series revival, because it's the same voice actor for Rogue from back in the 90s, but she's a lot older and her voice has gotten a lot like smokier, and she sounds like Paula Deen.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
It's not very
melting lots of butter.
I really hope they recast her.
It does not sound like Paula Deen. I actually find it quite fetching.
No,
Shut up.
It's Paula Deen. It's Paula Deen. It's like,
Chuck, you will break the tie when you watch it.
Okay, I will do that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I wanted to rewatch X-Men 97, the original run, and then people were like, you don't have to do that to watch this. I'm like, nah, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then I just never did it. I think Jason might be frozen.
Yeah, I think Iceman got to him. So.
Yeah. This is that scene where we should walk around him and talk. Like Charles Xavier. I did that. I froze him.
I froze him.
Iceman got to you, Jason. Oh, he's semi coming back. Anyway,
he's semi here.
All right. So the actual plot of this movie, we have Stryker, who we talked about was more of a pastor TV evangelist in the movie. Here is like a militant scientist, right?
Yeah, he's but he does have something where he does want to talk about like school reform, which almost feels like it almost feels like a dig where you have like these people who have these shady kind of backgrounds or have shady support or shady money behind them that are getting involved in things that they really shouldn't be. Like this guy is in the military because he does lead a military unit. I think at one point they even call him General Stryker. And then he goes to see the president about school reform,
which I don't get that necessarily.
Right. But that's all an inroad for him to be able to say, it's like, oh, do I have a school for you? In that very, sly Brian Cox way.
Right. And all of that, I guess we should talk about the beginning, which I've mentioned a few times. We have an attack on the president by a beloved religious mutant Nightcrawler. So immediately
a mega Catholic.
Yeah, like he's insane about that stuff. I'm not calling all mega Catholics insane, but Nightcrawlers.
No, but I mean, but he is like, if he is constantly saying Hail Marys and praying on the
yes, and he becomes pretty skeptical in the Hickman run, which is really good because of what they are doing. They're playing God a little bit. Yeah. So that's not cool with Nightcrawler. So it leads to some interesting stuff with him. But anyway, in this instance, the Nightcrawler is not going to fucking attack the president if you know Nightcrawler at all. But he does. He attacks him. He leaves a knife in the desk that presumably was meant for the president that says
Mutant Liberation.
Mutant Liberation. Thank you. So they were supposed to kill the president with that message, which is against the Registration Act or whatever.
Well, it would have forced the Registration Act, which would have led to essentially Days of Futures Past storyline,
right?
Where they would have been rounded up and put away.
Which
Jason, you're back. Everything good?
I'm back.
We're talking about the opening.
I haven't had a great internet crash like that in a while. So
we just said that either Iceman or Charles Xavier froze you, so we could walk around and talk.
And I stand by my Paula Dean statement.
Okay, we've moved on.
I know.
You see Jeff like pissed off over there. No.
Remove him.
but that attack leads Stryker to come, like you said, to talk about school reform or whatever the hell he's there for. But he's also like, what does he say, Jeff?
Well, he basically has satellite imagery of the Xavier School for Gifted Children, and he's like, and like Senator Kelly is there.
Yep.
Which, by the way, big ups to Bruce Davison for playing Senator Kelly a little effeminate.
Yeah, a little bit.
Did you pick that up? Yeah, it is a different person. Literally, it is a different person. But anyway, he's like, this is just a school. And he's like, well,
the singer from Iron Maiden is one hell of an actor.
But Brian Cox is like, well, what kind of a school has a jet under the basketball court, basically? And they're like, well, what kind of a jet is that? And I'm like, it's the Blackbird. I don't know what kind of jet it is. It's the Blackbird.
It's a fucking jet.
It's a fucking bombing. Yeah. It's a badass jet. And so basically the president's like, all right, fine. You've got, go in, detain, question, but I better not see some mutant kid dead on the 6 o'clock news.
Right.
There's going to be so many dead mutant kids if Stryker had his way.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Oh, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder why Stryker even cared about permission to do this mission.
Well, he probably didn't. I mean, I'm guessing it would be to get the army guys that he had.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
Probably to get those people with him. And if he does this on his own and he fails, then he loses everything.
Yeah, but he's already like doing more than he said he would do.
Oh, absolutely.
Regardless. I mean, he's still going to like have the same repercussions if he fails.
Yeah. Well, he just didn't count.
My point, but I think Jeff's right. I think it's about getting the military resources. Yeah.
And he also didn't expect a berserker mode Wolverine to show up.
Yeah. That was he did not plan on that, did he?
No.
But everybody else accounted for, but
not Wolverine. No.
That was another good thing about this. It's like Wolverine is actually fucking killing people. Yes. Like he should be actually fucking killing people.
Yes.
That's Wolverine, man. Yes. He doesn't spare people out of the goodness of his heart.
No,
he does not. Yeah.
No, I mean, and especially once the berserker takes over.
Right.
It's like that he's an animal at that point.
This is almost like the first scene when they show up at the school that you're like, okay, that is Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like even like including the first movie up to now, it's like, okay. They understand this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Well, now Wolverine.
I like when he's sniffing the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For that.
Yeah, there's no beer.
Any beer in here?
Is there any beer on the sun? He is Canadian.
He probably would ask if.
Yeah, he is. I wonder if there's any beer on the sun. Anyway, Rousdower, he should have been an X-Man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Wolverine has been to Canada recently. At the end of the first one, Xavier says, go check out Alkali Lake in, I think, Alberta, I think is where that is.
Somewhere like that.
And some of the answers you're looking for are there. He's gone there. It's empty. So he's come back to the school because he also stole one of Cyclops' motorcycles.
I love it.
Yeah. And meanwhile, also, Xavier, then fill it up. Meanwhile, Xavier is trying to find the mutant that made the attempt on the president. And he's having a hard time locating him through Cerebro because he is very erratic moving.
He bamfs a lot.
He bamfs all over the place. He's just bamfing all over the damn place. And
I actually would not have hated it if they had little like bamf words every time.
I wouldn't have either. It would have been like a nice little nod.
Yeah,
agreed.
So basically, he finally stops in Boston, and he sends Storm and Jean Grey to go pick him up.
Yep.
In the Blackbird. Meanwhile, Magneto is in a plastic prison because he's master of magnetism. Welcome to die, as he would say.
That prison is super awesome, but what the fuck did they do with him, like, while they're waiting to put him in that prison?
Saran wrap.
I'm like, how did they pass the time?
That's a really good point. My other question is, how is it that Stryker and Professor Xavier both have like full access to this prison? Like, who actually controls this prison?
I think Stryker kind of does for some reason, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think Stryker does control because he has constant interaction with him. Because
so he's just playing the long game, letting Xavier visit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. It is how he's able to entrap him. So
yes, and so he's been questioning Magneto about Cerebro.
Yes.
I love comic books. God damn,
me too. What a dumb name for a great character, Magneto. Sorry.
I think it's kind of cool.
It's only cool because of him. Like, because of Magneto himself.
I don't know, man.
It sounds tough.
It does sound pretty tough.
And magnanimous,
Damn, why couldn't he have one of those names, like Magnus?
Well, he's been called Magnus.
Because it has to be magnetism. That's gotta be. Yeah.
Magneto.
I don't know. It doesn't bother me. Of all the annals of comic book names, that one is not even close to the top.
Let's put an O at the end of Magnet.
It's not Pace Pop Pete,
Right. It's not Puck.
It's not Puck, yeah. I just recently did a little deep dive and learned a lot about the Alpha Flight. That is just as deep and crazy as X-Men. Anyway, so Scott and Xavier are going to go visit Magneto, try to find out more about what was going on with this whole attack on the president, because as Scott says, I think Magneto probably planned something like this.
Yeah.
And even Xavier's like, it wouldn't be beyond his reach to plan this from prison. And it's like, so let's go talk to him.
But beforehand, we see that Stryker is also visiting, and he's dropping some mysterious liquid in the back of Magneto's neck. And that is like, we don't know what it is, but it's definitely something that is going to
make glazes Magneto's eyes
over. Whatever he wants. Yeah.
Right.
So it sort of feels like maybe it's a truth serum, but then you think about, this is probably how he's controlling Nightcrawler, so it's some sort of mind control thing. Yeah.
Right. And so basically everybody is like, hey, Wolverine, you seem like a pretty decent babysitter. Hang out with these kids. What
were they going to do otherwise? Who was going to stay back? It was like the perfect timing.
Well, it would have been Colossus.
I guess it would be Colossus, yeah.
You'd been throwing them around like little fastball specials.
Yep.
Throwing them kids around. Anyway.
Fastball specials.
So, so basically, like, yeah, so he's not sleeping or it's late, and he doesn't have to go to bed like children do. And he realizes that there's a little kid sitting on the couch who's changing the channels by blinking. He says he doesn't sleep. Chuck, who is that?
I was going to look that up because I know it's a reference, obviously an Easter egg to someone, but I didn't.
Yeah, everybody's an Easter egg. Is it?
Let me look it up. Go ahead and talk and I'll find out.
Okay. So basically, he goes to the kitchen, he talks to Iceman. Now, Iceman, Bobby Drake, has started dating Rogue. And, which is confusing to everybody because Wolverine's like, so how do you do that? And, how do you get that thing
relationships can be chased, I guess. Yeah.
They have to be with her.
They do, indeed, yes.
Because she sucks the life out of you if she touches you too long. Uh-huh. Although I do like when they do finally kiss and she gets to blow the cool air out of it. That's kind of...
It is neat.
Yeah.
I mean, Rogue is a super cool character that retains the powers of anyone she takes them from for some amount of time, which obviously is important to this story. But
I don't.
She's just
remember.
A cool.
That's something that she eventually is able to control, right?
At some points, yes. Some points, no.
Okay.
Yes. She always wears her gloves still.
Yeah. She does, yeah.
But her and Remy have figured it out somehow.
Right.
Gambit.
Yeah. Perfect couple, by the way.
Yeah. Also, we didn't really talk about this, but there was a museum visit, like a little field trip for the school, where apparently Storm just takes over teaching the tour. It's like, Storm, babe, they've got guys here to do the thing that you're doing, but whatever. But they're, and that's why everybody's talking about them behind their back. It's like that bitch just took that guy's job.
To me, that just feels like it's not a private tour, right? She's got a field trip and she's doing the.
I mean, if those kids were mutant kids, all of them, it's not apparent because one of them sticks his forked tongue out. Artie.
Now that is Artie. Artie. He's from New Mutants.
It is a bit mixed. Yeah. The group of kids. Yeah.
Okay, so there's probably a reason I didn't recognize that kid blinking because he's not. His name is Jones, and he's not
nothing.
Really.
He's made for the movie, unless I'm missing something here.
I bet he's showing up later.
I want to be able to blink and change channels.
Me too. Yeah.
Pretty fun.
I know, that's pretty dope. And he doesn't sleep, so you can watch all the TV on all the channels you want.
Yeah, he is.
It's called technokinesis or something like that.
Something like that. That sounds like a very that seems somebody on the X-Men already has that,
so he
right?
could control all sorts of stuff. He's
his name is probably Technomo or something.
Techmomo?
Not Momo, Nomo. But I like Techmomo.
Technomo.
Oh my god!
I like Techmomo.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's good.
So basically, it's like they've already caught a little bit of public heat, because Jean can hear all of their thoughts. Now, Jean has also been having some funky power fluctuations as of late. But we'll come back around to that in a bit, because for a little while in the movie they work just fine, because it's a movie, you got to. They end up finding Nightcrawler.
Unpredictable, we'll say.
Unpredictable and sometimes very powerful.
Yeah, but also sometimes fail her.
Yes. And sometimes makes it sound like she's hearing voices too.
Yes.
Not of people collected in her area. But anyway, so they, her and Storm, so Jean and Storm find Nightcrawler, and they basically calm him down, and basically it's like, look, we're like you. we also don't believe, especially after he kind of tells him this, like, I don't remember what I did. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay.
Has a suspicious wound on his neck.
He has a suspicious wound on his neck. And so they basically say, okay, we believe you. Let's learn a little bit more about this guy.
Yeah.
And his awesome tattoos.
Yes, they were angelic symbols passed down from the archangel. Which one
Gabriel.
is it? Gabriel.
Gabriel, yeah.
Which is like, maybe. I mean, I looked up a little bit about angelic symbols, and it's strange.
You Catholics are weirdos.
Well, it's not really a Catholic thing. It's like the hierarchy of angels is in the Bible. I don't know where the symbols came from, though. And they weren't necessarily passed down by one specific angel. Like, lots of different angels have their own symbol. And a lot of them have been over the years kind of associated with different birth months. So it's almost become like an angelic zodiac. It's weird. It's very weird.
Well, the zodiacs all have their own logos. Everybody's got logos. Where's my logo?
It's like an angelic zodiac. Yeah.
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 Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm basically this guy is he seems like a cool dude.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, exactly.
Fucking Alan Cummings.
We have three members of the James Bond universe in this church scene, two from the same movie.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Famke and, or is it Halle Berry?
Halle Berry is in the really bad
different one, but
so it's Famke.
The other two,
and Famke Jensen are from Goldeneye. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
With both of them had crazy Russian accents, and it's
yes.
I have to say she's given a lot more to do too, but she's a much better Jean Grey in this movie than she is the first one.
Most definitely.
Too. Sure.
Like even the actors are starting to understand who they're playing.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah. That to me is just like more time to research the character, more time with the writers. Yeah.
And there's something going on with Jean, which you guys alluded to, that she can draw from while she is acting this role out.
Yeah.
Which is good. Good for the character. Just like there's something going on with Logan, who is trying to find out what his past is.
Yeah. I will say the one guy who is consistently now for 11 movies got Wolverine. It's Hugh Jackman.
It's so good. Like
from the beginning
of him. I mean, it's really cool. Yeah.
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 Logan being the best version in my opinion, like from Logan.
Yeah.
Like the honestly, old man Logan, excuse me. Yeah.
What was it? Deadpool 3, Deadpool Wolverine. He's outrageously good in that.
I mean that's the comic too, really.
Yeah, the whole scene. Anytime they're in a car together, is gold in that movie.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's the only reason I think that he came back to play him again, because it was another version,
right?
Like a fun version of Wolverine.
Yep.
Not the old
and.
Stick in the mud.
Yeah, dour.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, I mean, he's pretty bummed out in the movie.
Well, he is, but
he is also playing off of like a completely goofball type.
It's way
character.
more dynamic. Than some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
And he finally gets the full-on mask, and his whole fucking shirt rips off.
That's hilarious, man.
Hell yeah.
It's hilarious. Good stuff.
All this stuff with like the two Wade Wilsons and that kills me too.
Oh yeah.
That's just
I need to go back.
Fucking smart movie.
I need to go back because I've watched a lot of the referenced movies since I saw Deadpool and Wolverine that I maybe didn't like really get the first time I watched it, because my memory is awesome. So I need to go back and watch that soon, now that I've revisited a lot of these that are like touched upon.
Susan loves Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Like, she really likes him, and she was curious about that movie, and I was like, I don't know if you would dig it, because it's just so inside baseball that
it is very inside baseball.
I just don't know if it will work for you. Yeah.
I think it's still funny, even if you don't know everything.
Yeah.
But if that's not what she likes about Wolverine, then
yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, how does she feel about Ryan Reynolds? That's going to be more important, I think.
She didn't love the first Deadpool. And she didn't see the second one. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe skip Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. I don't really love the Deadpool movies either, other than the third one.
I like the first one quite a bit.
I like the first one.
It's just relentless word vomit. The first one is, and it's just like, and the second one is even worse.
It's not even about that stuff for me. His little quips and all of the bullshit he goes through. I'm like, this is like him getting murdered over and over and over again. It's hilarious.
I love the first one. I don't love the first one. I like the first
itty
one a
bitty
lot
little
better
arms
than the
and
second
legs.
one.
Yeah.
But
I get it.
But the Ryan Reynolds factor definitely wears.
Sure. And absolutely Deadpool, when you talk about that corner of the X-Men side of the yard, that is, I mean, that's already something that's going to be, your mileage will vary.
Yeah.
I know people who can't get enough of the fourth wall breaking. I liked it for a little while when like Brian Posehn was co-writing it, but it wears eventually to the point where it's like, I'm kind of done here. I've read enough. You know, and the same thing goes with Harley Quinn in the comics.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I can go so far.
Yeah. Deadpool can show up occasionally and be used in an interesting way to solve a problem that you're like, oh, that's why Deadpool is in this comic.
There have been some funny times when, like, because for a brief period of time, he was on a team of Avengers, and,
oh God,
like his absolute reverence to Captain America is hilarious. Like he's desperate to impress him.
Yeah. I can kind of see that though. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to X2. While they're in Boston and they're making friends with Nightcrawler, Scott and Xavier go to see Magneto. Xavier realizes that something's not right, and he's clued in on the idea that that Magneto has done something bad, and Magneto's like, I'm sorry, Charles, but I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
And at that time, not only are Scott and Xavier being ambushed by Lady Deathstrike,
who they don't call Lady Deathstrike in this for some weird reason.
They don't call her anything in this.
No, they give her name. It's like Naruto or something.
Naruto, yeah, she comes Naruto running in. Yeah. Eureka is, I think, what they do call her. But very rarely they call her that. Yeah. It's just like my associate, and twirling the mustache. You know,
Stryker's very Bond villain.
He is. And then Stryker himself is ambushing the school, and they come in and they first find the little dude that's Technobablo.
Yeah.
Technobablo.
Techmomo.
And then Wolverine, who's been having a little heart-to-heart with Iceman, trying to figure out, is this dude cool or not?
Yeah, he's totally cool.
He's totally cool. He's super cool. I mean, he cooled off that Dr. Pepper for him.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Is this that Dr. Pepper? Sorry, I should not have done that here.
Oh my God.
Is this that Dr. Pepper?
Okay.
We're going to have to cut that.
No. So yeah, basically, like Wolverine's like, oh, something's not right. It's time to fuck shit up.
Time to snick.
Oh boy, he's gonna snick some people all to hell.
Yep.
Take over from here, Chuck.
Oh yeah, so Stryker's people start to break into the house. They take the little Jones kid, like you mentioned. Wolverine's like, oh shit, there's people here. He breaks out the knives and he just starts obliterating dudes. I don't know how many he kills, but it's north of
all
10.
Of them.
It's north of 10, north of 15.
Yeah.
before.
I mean, he's tossing people with his.
Yeah, he's got two at once, ripping arms off, cutting guns in half, like fucking straight up Wolverine shit.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. And then you have Colossus, who really cool metallic thing here. Like the way they do it, it looks really good. I'm like, I need more of that.
Yeah.
In an X-Men movie, please, when the Marvel Universe picks this up.
100%. Colossus is going to be in. Yeah,
I did really like him in the first Deadpool. Like he was great in that.
Oh yeah,
he's been weirdly absent in the comics over the last like 6 to 8 years. Huh. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they went so far to bring him back after he died. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Huh. I don't know. He wasn't as much of Hickman's run as I've finished. He's not in a lot of it. Anyway. He's very coolly like turning into metal and getting shot and being like, haha, I'm a badass, and taking kids and rescuing them and bringing them through a tunnel to a plot we never really see picked up again.
Yeah. I do love that exchange with Wolverine where he's like, I can help you. And Wolverine says, help them. And then we don't see him again. But that's a good exchange.
It is, because he gave Colossus something important to do, which I'm sure he executed flawlessly because he's colossal. Because he's colossal.
He's colossal.
He's flawlessly colossal. God.
He's colossal.
He is colossal. I love him. And his sister, I love magic so much. Anyway. So, Bobby,
this is also when we get to see Siren too, the girl version.
She screams.
Right.
Yes.
They have to knock her out to stop because it's affecting everyone.
Even Wolverine is like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But it does like kind of buy them time a little bit.
Yep.
Her scream.
And Kitty Pryde shows up too here.
Yeah, she runs through a wall and
run through the guy.
And she runs through a guy. Like, Kitty Pryde is such a cool fucking character. Like, I need more of her because I don't even remember if she's in the later run.
She is. Elliot Page played.
Oh yeah.
Kitty Pryde.
It's been a while since I've seen those two.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's good cast.
That picks up next movie, actually, the one that don't watch that one.
Yeah.
But continues into Days of Futures Past
right now. But yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're going to watch them all again just to get through to First Class Days of Futures Past, then you might as well, I guess. But because then you could have your dip and then get to the good one, but then drop off before the evolution or whatever that one was.
This is another tangent, but as good as Ian McKellen is, he's the best. But Fassbender is like such a good young Magneto.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they play the two different Magnetos. Not that Magneto's ever really different, unless sometimes he's very maniacal, but they both play him well.
Yeah.
But McKellen,
and I like James McAvoy also.
I do too.
Yeah. Oh, as Xavier,
yeah.
Xavier, excuse me.
I do.
Yes, but this is like the pinnacle.
Sure.
Patrick Stewart,
this is like super villain Magneto. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm trying to think. Those are the two main ones we see here because we see other ones later.
Yeah, I mean, we had seen Artie.
Yeah.
He's a big one. And then Kitty Pryde.
I remember what I was going to say. Kitty Pryde actually plays a huge part in the God Loves, Man Kills because she's Jewish. There's an element of Stryker not even liking, like doubly not liking her.
Yes.
Yeah. Because there's no hate like Christian love.
And one thing I do want to ask, because I think I know the answer, but I'm not sure. The Stryker of this movie and the Jason Stryker of this movie are kind of invented for this movie.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
No?
So they're both in God Loves, Man Kills. You had stepped away right at the start of the episode. We were talking about how Stryker in that is like a religious leader, a pastor, televangelist.
Yeah.
Mutant 143 that is his son. That is directly from that as well.
Well, I knew they were related, like they had a relationship, but like this particular
It's still the same. He has the same end goal. The only thing really different is he's militant instead of that religious leader.
And then probably the Wolverine connection is probably also
that's not part.
I don't even know if they connect that later in the books. Like,
so that was
not that I'm sure in the books, because it comes back around to Kitty Pryde in the sequel.
Yeah,
again, but Nightcrawler is the thing that he calls out in the comic to say you still want to call that thing a human, which is what he says later to Artie.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. But anyway, it's a good book. It's a good book.
It is a good book.
Can't recommend it enough. Anyway, go ahead, Chuck.
So Bobby and Rogue are searching for each other. Wolverine finds them, and they're killing fools, and they're starting to go through the tunnel, but then somebody... Oh no, Wolverine's like, you guys go, I'll stay and fucking...
Also, Pyro's with them too.
Yes, and Pyro. And he's like, I'll kill all these fucking fools. And then Stryker comes in and he's like blown away that Wolverine is there. He's like, I'm surprised to find you in a place like this, and brings up all the intrigue of Wolverine, like, wait, how do you know me? Kind of stuff. And then Bobby comes, and Rogue is like, talks Bobby into like, they're going to kill him. Well, they're not going to kill him, probably, because he's Wolverine. But
it's not going to feel good, whatever they're going to do.
Whatever they do to him is not going to feel good, because it hurts every time. So Bobby comes out, makes an ice wall, and Stryker puts a charge on it, and they all escape the same direction that Colossus did with the kids.
And there's a really good line here, too, where he's like, you kids go, I'll be fine. And Rogue says, but we won't.
Yeah,
and that snaps him out of it. Like, oh yeah, I need to look after these three.
Yes, because he's kind of made a pledge to her that like he will protect her, and he doubles down on it a little. Well, in the first movie, he makes a pledge to her that he will protect her. At the same time, you were talking about Magneto and Charles getting trapped. There's a really great line by Magneto there where he's like, you should have killed me when you had the chance, because this wouldn't be happening.
This wouldn't happen if you didn't.
Yeah. Classic, like, superhero, like, do you kill, do you not kill? And Magneto has no conscience for humans, and Charles Xavier does.
But Charles getting captured at this point does start Magneto on a little bit of a different arc here.
Yes, a little bit. It's really fun.
Yes,
because you like to see him working with these folks, because there are great runs of X-Men where Magneto is kind of a good guy.
Absolutely.
Well, he's always a leader for a little bit. Yeah.
But he's always got his motive.
Right.
That Magneto.
Well, in Secret Wars, in Secret Wars, like, Magneto is placed with the heroes, and then he goes off and does his own thing and rallies the X-Men to him.
Yes.
And it creates a third faction in that whole story. Yeah.
Man, it's been a while since Secret Wars will be interesting. This upcoming run. I hope it's good.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jason. You were going to say something.
No, I was basically agreeing with you. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically at this point, we've got the school has all the students have split into essentially three different things. Some have been captured by what men survived Wolverine's maniacal thrashing. We have one group with Colossus, who we never see again in this movie.
Yeah.
Presumably we see them at the end, like after the big finale. And then we have Wolverine, Pyro, Rogue, and Iceman.
It's six of the mutant students were taken by Stryker.
Right.
Yeah.
That was all they could get after those who could survive what happened.
and when Stryker asks how many, and they tell him, he doesn't seem that disappointed. And you kind of wonder why at first, but then you find out, oh, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah. Why he wanted any, right?
Right.
Yep.
So then he goes, so basically Wolverine takes off in one of Scott's cars, realizes there's like a little cell phone, like distress thing. And they
like
try
a
to
bat phone.
Yeah,
it is bat phone,
and but it's a Wolvie phone.
Yes.
So it's like, well, Gene and Storm went to Boston, and Iceman says, my parents live in Boston.
Great.
With fucking Ronnie.
Go. Perfect. Fucking
yeah.
Sorry.
We'll get to him here in just a moment.
Story. Fuck him.
Yeah, he's a little turd.
God.
Anyway,
Cell turd, man. Insecure little bitch.
You sounding like me over there. I say those exact words like
fucking
4 or
Ronnie,
5 times an hour.
Ronnie's a piece of shit, man.
He is.
But yes, they do go visit. They do go visit Bobby and Bobby's family, which Wolverine's looking for beer again.
He finds it.
He finds some MGD there. Yeah.
Yeah, he sniffs it out. He sniffs
that's
out
Professor
MGD.
Logan.
Yeah.
What are you, Professor of? Art.
Art.
But yeah, Bobby's family doesn't know anything about him. They thought he was at like some
school for
gifted children, but not in the way that, you know. And this is the way they talk about it in the comics too. It is the school for gifted children,
right?
Gray Malkin.
Although it's Gray Malkin Lane, yeah. Westchester is the
area.
Yeah. So they have swapped this with Warren's story, right?
I think so. I don't know. It is
because Warren Worthington was didn't they consider cutting his wings off and shit?
Yeah, it was a little bit darker than this.
Yeah.
Ronnie's not half as bad as Angel's
no
family.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of that, when new writers take over, where they'll borrow from a character that's no longer used to have a backstory that's similar, kind of thing. Yeah. But yes, it happens here with Bobby. But yeah, Bobby's family are clueless. His mom asks him the dumbest question in the world.
Well, he shows off what he can do, which he freezes her coffee, which freaks everybody out. It's just some cold air, man. The cat,
cold coffee. That'll be the bee's knees in 10 years.
I know, right? and the Jason likes the cold coffee.
I do.
Yeah. Me too.
The cat likes it, so that's something.
Yeah.
The cat licking his lawyer's claw is the perfect cat thing. Cats love licking knives. It's the weirdest thing. Anything metal, it's strange.
Anything sharp and pointy, they want up on.
Oh yeah, I want to lick that.
Yeah. Anyway, Chuck, back to what you were saying.
Well, his mom's like, have you ever tried not being a mutant? But at the same time, Ronnie slinks off because his older brother's a fucking mutant.
He's a little mutie.
This is so story serving, movie serving, and I think it does happen in a comic story too, but it is so we need to figure out a way to have the cops get here.
There are
this cool fucking shit happen.
Corners cut in this movie. Yeah,
right. I mean, I will say though that it's remember this movie is 22 years old, and there were a lot of stupid questions being asked back then, and saying, yeah, no, it's not something you can turn on and off. You fools. Right.
They probably are making fun of some of the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Of the first movies of the first movie. And there's a set of rules. It's almost I don't even want to bring up Harry Potter, but when Harry Potter came out, people didn't understand the fucking magic thing. Well, it's similar here. People don't understand the mutant thing.
Really?
Well, some
people didn't understand it.
Yes, people are stupid. People who watch the movies, don't.
I bet those same people now really like watching those movies.
Probably, and I think you do.
Yeah, I think you do.
But yes, people always people who are drawn to it by kids or other people and see it. They ask all sorts of dumb questions about how it works.
And,
and
they ask,
fair. They've lost their sense of suspension of disbelief or their sense of
whimsy.
Yes.
Or they just say, ain't you one of them Satanists if you watch this movie?
Right. Yeah. That's a fun one. Yeah.
But Ronnie's
saucy.
I am a bit saucy.
Ronnie calls the cops, which leads to a really fucking cool scene because why can't I remember Pyro's fucking name? Is it Johnny?
It is John Allardyce.
Yeah. Okay. So
now, also Wolverine did get contacted by Storm, and
he's like, "You need to get here.
You need to get here because things are." And it's like, "Yep, we're on our way. Hop, skip, and a jump away."
And then Wolverine notices that there are cops coming, and he's like, "We need to get the fuck out of here!" To everybody.
Yeah.
They walk out on the porch. Yeah, we got beat cheeks. If only Wolverine talked like Jeff.
They got a bunch of shotguns pointing at him.
I kind of feel like Wolverine would say beat cheeks.
Something he would say. I agree.
Yeah.
He would say that before he would say we have to vamoose or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If Wolverine ever says vamoose,
we must vamoose.
Kick him
that
in the
feels
nuts.
like a Nightcrawler line.
Yeah. You kick him in his adamantium balls. Is that what you said?
Well,
that really pisses him off too.
He's probably being impersonated by Mystique or something.
Yeah.
It's Mystique.
It's like he would never say vamoose. Wait, why would Mystique say vamoose? Anyway, sorry.
I can't even. Somebody else take over from this porch scene.
So basically, cops are coming up on the porch. They're holding guns to children because cops got a cop, and they're like, put down the knives because Wolverine's like fully popped at this point, and he's like, I can't, and he's like trying to show. It's like, look, I'll put them away.
Yeah.
And the moment he retracts them, he gets a fucking bullet to the skull.
Yeah, it's a little aggressive.
Cops got a cop.
Typical cop behavior.
Man, you would think they were going to be 10 times worse in a world full of mutants.
Oh, God. Well, they're all fucking die. I mean, you better get some mutant cops because they ain't gonna last long.
Oh, they need a mutant cop force.
mutant
cop. It's like the new Maniac cop. Or Scanner cop. It's mutant cop.
So and basically at this point, like Pyro's like, well, I can do a thing. Now his thing is he's been playing with a lighter this whole time.
Yeah.
And he can't create fire, but he can control it.
Yeah. They've been teasing this.
Well, he did flick that one kid's cigarette on him. Yeah.
Made a flame up in his face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flamo!
That's his name, Flamo.
Isn't that from the Fantastic Four? That really shitty
Flame on. Original Fantastic Four. That when he says "Flame on," Chuck was. You thought forever. You were like, it sounds like Flamo.
Oh, it's not Flamo.
You said that all the time. Flamo. Who was that? Who was that actor?
Chris Evans, wasn't it?
Oh, it was Chris Evans. Oh my God, he was.
The whole thing of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Chris Evans. Flamo. That's funny. Anyway.
So then, so basically he's like blowing up cop cars left and right. Like,
it's so good. It's
just like, because he even says, like, you ever hear of those dangerous mutants? Well, I'm the worst one.
I'm the worst one.
And it's like, well, guy, you're probably like, I don't know, C tier.
You can aspire
of yourself, buddy.
You haven't met some
you can aspire, but
some people yet.
I mean, now ostensibly he's met Professor X.
Yes.
Who's pretty Omega level,
Yes, one of the most Omega level.
Right.
He's met Jean, who's on her way there.
He's boy. Yeah. So basically he's blowing up cop cars. He's tossing cops around, and Rogue has to steal his power to get him to stop.
Also very cool.
It's very cool. Yeah.
And Wolverine, meanwhile, the little bullet comes out of his head, and he's recovered because, he's got that awesome healing factor.
And Rogue also manipulates the flames by reducing them when she steals his power. Yeah.
Yep. And so at that point, the Blackbird comes and lands and takes off, and Bobby has to it's like my damn family. Turn me in. No good.
Bobby, Ronnie's up in the window with his parents.
Oh, and I know Ronnie's mom was hugging him from behind. It's fuck them all.
Yeah.
So great.
I'm gonna make you a shirt that says "I hate Ronnie."
Yeah, I hate Ronnie. What a turd.
So at this point, they basically. Meanwhile, we haven't even talked about Magneto getting out of jail, because meanwhile, Mystique has been doing a little bit of searching around, and this is, Magneto is manipulating certain things because, hey, the Stryker guy, he's bad news. Go find out what you can find out. She breaks in and, oh God, I love when movies do this. It's so stupid, but I love it every time. They show you all the blueprint. It's why would he have that? But I don't care. I love it.
Yeah, he just has the blueprints.
He just has the blueprints, and he's building his own Cerebro.
And there's 500 other X-Men names in there, or character names. So you want to see Easter eggs, look at that file. There's a bunch of them.
Yep.
I mean, at some point, Wanda's going to have to come along. It's no more. No more. No more. Too many mutants.
Her name is actually in there. W. Maximoff is in there.
Yep. So basically, she's got all of Stryker's plans, knows where he's going. He's going to Canada, to Alkali Lake. All of that stuff is all tied in. So she's got to help bust Magneto out. So she goes in regular Rebecca Romaine Stamos style. Stamos!
She turned into the hottest woman in the world at that time, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And most of the time, otherwise, she's naked.
Yeah.
As Mystique.
Yeah.
But she zeroes in on the main guard, Mr. Flory, or Mr. whatever.
Lowry.
Lario.
Yeah. He's like the evil Larry.
Yeah. Oh, man, Lario.
It's the
evil Larry.
So Chuck's having a good time this week.
Oh,
You're having a good time. We're talking X-Men. We're having good times. So basically, she knocks him out and then sticks his butt full of a whole bunch of iron.
Oof.
Now, my dad gets iron infusions. I'm guessing it's not actual literal iron in a syringe, but I like to think it might be. So, Dad, don't go around Magneto because it's going to be bad.
Brilliant fucking plan.
Yeah.
Just shoot this guy's ass full of iron. So he's,
Yep. So, it's there's only so much iron you can have in your body before Magneto can do something with it.
It makes me wonder, not to derail this, but is he sitting there in that cell just constantly? Because I don't know how he finds it with his brain or whatever. How does it work? But if he's constantly searching for something,
maybe
all the fucking time,
probably
that Magneto level concentration, he's whoa, shit, there's iron in this man's blood.
Yep. And I'm going to take it.
I'm going to take it. It's not as cool as when he takes Wolverine's skeleton out, but it's pretty fucking cool when he takes all the blood out of this man.
It is very cool.
Yeah. And, because the guy turns into a cartoon character shot by a machine gun. He drinks water.
Yes.
I just love the conceptualization of how much Magneto can do with so little.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
He makes a little floating platform.
That is just super fucking cool. It is.
Yeah, it is.
So, the whole scene is rad. It's it really hammers home just how powerful he is. Right?
Yeah, he's making little iron bullets and
I mean, it comes across almost like a video game because they're like swirling around him
while he's floating on the one, and it's like he's extracted all of this iron from a man's bloodstream. It's like, yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's rad.
I like that there's like little trickles of blood when he's like forming the balls. It's like, oh, it's just good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's not gory, but it's cool and it seems very painful.
Yes. It's one of my few notes is like the Magneto escape is magnificent.
It's magnificent.
It's magnificent. That irony was not lost on me.
No. So basically he's out now, and so we've got a sort of team of X-Men. We've got Rogue, Pyro, Iceman, with Wolverine, Jean, and Storm.
Pretty good team. That's a pretty powerful team.
I mean, those three adults alone are going to be in pretty good situation.
I mean, you have 2 Omega level mutants, like
you have one that's practically a goddess. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, they're getting chased though by the military because the cops are like, well, I guess we need to call the next most violent people that we've got on the Rolodex.
Yeah.
And here comes the military trying to gun them down.
Yeah, calling the mass murderers. Yeah.
Jason's saucy. Chuck is having a good time.
Yep.
I'm just feeding both. So we're talking about X-Men. Anyway, so they end up, I mean, like Jean is able to stop one of the missiles that's trying to shoot them down, but can't stop the other one. And they get into a tailspin, but they get saved by Magneto.
Yes.
Who just stops it like, he's like, you think Magneto could go up against Darth Vader?
Yes. I think he would
so
destroy
too.
Darth Vader.
He'd crush his suit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. He just ripped that shit right out. Yeah.
This is such a cool moment, man. It's just unbelievably cool. Like the jet, he just stops it right in midair as it's about to crash, looks at Mystique and says, when will these people learn how to fly? It's just epic fucking moment.
It is epic.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Like that was the moment when on my rewatch where I was like, holy fucking shit, this movie rules. Yeah.
And so they're going to have to team up now. So, they're going to have to work with their greatest enemy. And Wolverine is, he's like still trying to like figure out what's going on with Jean over there. Like, what you got going on over there?
The man can compartmentalize. Yeah.
Yes, he can.
Yeah.
He's got ulterior motives. He's got
right. Well, and she's like, and she's like, I'm busy, dude. It's like, come on, man. It's like, come on.
She has no time for love. Yeah.
No time for love,
Plus
Dr. Logan.
Know where Scott is.
Yeah. Professor Logan to you.
Yeah. The art of love.
Oh no.
Of course, she's preoccupied. She doesn't know where Scott is, right?
She doesn't know where Scott is. She's got 3 students that need to be. There's their greatest 2 villains sitting right over there on that log at the campfire.
Just giggling to each other.
Yeah.
And I love what Mystique does here too. She's like, "What do you want? What do you want?"
Like, hey man, I can be whatever.
I know what I want.
And I'd be like, awesome.
She's a little horny, and
he stuck her in the first one, and she's like, whoa, hey, this guy is up to my level.
That's her love language. Yeah,
getting stuck by some claws. Yeah,
and it ultimately it's how he realizes. Ultimately, it's how he realizes she's not.
Yeah.
Her because she's got the scars.
Yep.
Which it seems like that would change too.
Yeah, it's fine.
To somebody else, but it's fine in this movie.
Well, I mean, he was just flatly like rejected like 5 minutes before that. I'd be like, hey, this is a little weird.
This is awkward. That scene is almost kind of a little unnecessary in general, but like I would have liked more colossal stuff than that.
Colossal.
Like big.
Logan's pretty big
compared to the comics.
He's pretty short, though. Yeah.
Well, yeah, not here. He's not. I mean, if we really wanted to split hairs, he's way too fucking tall.
Well, you know what's
you
funny?
can split hairs with that adamantium.
You know what's funny
claws.
about
We split hairs like this.
Is how much more jacked he gets for every movie.
Yes.
Like by the time, like seriously, he's at his oldest in Deadpool and Wolverine, and he is probably the most jacked of all of them.
That's why they had to rip his fucking shirt off during the big climax.
I'm sure that was like a
Like in
Ryan Reynolds thing.
the first two movies, yeah, it was. In the first two movies, he was kind of like, I don't know, like
normal dude.
Good, but
yeah,
normal,
good,
like,
but normal dude.
like,
He went from
yeah.
Hugh Jackman to huge jacked man. Hugh Jackman. One other thing to note: Bobby Drake is also Iceman is Omega level. Obviously not in this movie, but he is an Omega level mutant.
What makes him Omega?
Oh.
Omega level means you're like top tier power, like top of your class.
Because that's just relative, right?
I don't know. I doubt there's a cap on it, so it is relative.
Cap?
Yes, there's no ice cap on it. There's no ice cap on it, but he is like extremely. He can do as much with ice as anyone.
I guess. I mean,
so he could freeze the world, and Magneto can put it out of its orbit.
And someone with ice. Yeah, I see it. Okay, sure. Yep.
But Pyro is not Omega level
because he can do anything with water. And I mean, we're all. Oh my god, he could probably like.
He could freeze you. He could freeze you. He could freeze you.
All sorts of bad shit to you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think Iceman and Mr. Freeze would be a good combination in a movie?
Only the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes, that's where I was going with that.
I think Bobby Drake might also be gay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I think Bobby Drake might also be gay, so I don't know why he's with Rogue in this movie, but
that was the Brian Michael Bendis thing. That came later.
Oh, maybe it was okay.
It was later, but
I mean,
I will say, read those early issues. He is not interested in Jean.
He's pretty coded.
Yeah,
coded.
That's why Mendez did it, because I'm sure he'd been noticing this. Yeah.
I think he just did it to piss off all the whiny butts.
Probably.
That's a good reason too.
Yeah.
Yep. The whiny butts.
He saw the whiny butts get upset about Alan Scott. And he was like, "Well, I
is crying."
Anyway, all right.
Back to X2.
Yeah, back to X2. Back to our regularly scheduled whatever this is. We're having fun.
We are. This is fun.
It's good times. See, I thought this month would be fun. We were all like, sad last month. Now we got now we got fun.
It's fun.
So basically it's like, okay, we got to go over to Lake Alkali. That's where all the shit's going to happen. It's where all the shits are going down. And this is when Magneto and Mystique are like giggling over the streak of white hair in Rogue's hair that she got in the first movie from
which is hilariously maniacal behavior.
Like,
look what we did to that woman.
Yeah, look, to that little girl, basically.
Yeah, that little girl, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, right? But anyway, so they also formulate a plan. It's like, okay, there's a spillway, like a big pipe that you have to walk down to get inside. But if we come in force, they'll just drown it, and they'll flood it and we'll drown. And like Wolverine's like, well, I'll go because I don't think Stryker wants to kill me. And Magneto's like, okay, but do you know how to work anything?
Are you just going to hit it with your claws?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
This is one of his best lines in the movie coming up here in a moment where you're going to share it.
Go for it.
Because he does say, what are you going to hit it with your claws? And then Wolverine's like, well, I'll take my chances. And Magneto's like, but I won't.
Yeah.
Like, that is so fucking Magneto. Yeah. Like, it's so Wolverine and so Magneto in like 7 words.
And it also, like, he's ostensibly not just getting back at Stryker, but he's also saving his friend. Professor X. He's not taking chances on this.
Kind of. I
mean, but I mean, but like,
leave Charles to die. He was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could see it that way at this moment, but yeah, he's like, this is too important to fail. I'm not going to send a feral fucking maniac to do this.
Well, and also you could argue too that the number one thing is self-preservation, because he knows what that Cerebro can do. And that Cerebro is not a good dude.
Like the plan is for, and we've learned this, I think, at this point, is that Stryker has his son, Jason, who is being used because the drip thing that he puts on Magneto's neck and he put on Nightcrawler's neck and he's putting on Deathstrike's neck is not going to work on Charles. His mind is too strong. So they're using his son, who he's kind of like turned, he's like an invalid almost.
Well, he's
still got a super powerful.
He's lobotomized him.
Maybe, yeah. I guess they don't make it fully.
He's got a scar though.
He does have that scar. Yeah. You're right, but it still leaves him with his power.
Yeah.
To control or at least manipulate Charles Xavier into finding all the mutants using Cerebro.
Yes.
Finding them, and if he concentrates hard enough on them, as we learned earlier, that all mutants can die.
Right.
That's the plan. That's what's being enacted right now.
And so Jason Stryker Stryker brought Jason to Xavier
to fix him.
He's like, well, to help him. But yeah, it was mutant conversion therapy.
Have you tried not being a mutant therapy?
Right. Basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Because Xavier's like, I can't do what you wanted me to do. I could help him control the powers. I can help him be, I can help him be as normal as possible. He's always going to be a mutant. We can't turn off the powers like that. And Stryker's not hearing it. It's like, oh, shut up. Yeah, you can. I'm taking my kid and I'm going home. Yeah, I mean, it's basically what some idiot would tell a public school teacher today about, teaching them critical race theory or whatever.
They should just pray the gay away. I mean,
right. Exactly. Pray the mutant away. But, Professor X is a public school and, but anyway. Xavier's like, no, I can't do what you wanted me to do. That's just not in the cards. And he's like, okay, well, here's what we are going to do. We're going to fuck you up, basically.
Yeah.
And I'll have my way one way or another. And so basically Jason creates like this little dream world where a little girl is looking for all of the students of the school. And
after the attack of Stryker, I think.
Yeah, and all like everybody's gone, and it's just a walking Charles Xavier, which that should be the first sign of something's not right.
Yes, he was standing. Yeah,
yeah, because when you go into the dream world, he's like admiring, how high up he is from his feet.
Yeah,
he's like, look at that, they're all the way down there. Look at that. Anyway, so basically it's like, let's go find all of our friends. And he's like, yes, let's. And perfect. That was perfect.
He should have pretended he was number 2 from Star Trek Generations. Like, let's go find all the mutants.
But who does number 2 work for? That's what I want.
That number 2, that's number 1.
Oh, my bad.
That's true. It is number 1.
Number 2 is Austin Powers.
Yeah, I know. I always go Austin Powers. But yeah, the little girl does convince Xavier to go in there, and he does start for like 20 minutes of the movie. He's looking for all of the mutants while the break-in to the facility is happening, which is done by Mystique because Magneto won't take any chances. He sends Mystique. She gets to the computer. She opens the little waterway. I can't remember exactly. You just said it too, but the little waterway that they can walk into. So they start coming in. They leave the kids behind, of course.
Although Magneto does have he does impress Pyro. He's like, so what do they call you? And he's like, John. And it's like, no.
What's your real name?
What's your real name?
Yeah.
That's what the others call you. What's your
And then
real
he's like,
name?
don't let anyone ever tell you you're not magnificent or what.
Yeah,
Paraphrasing.
he says you are. Oh, what was it?
Because Pyro has to say, he's like, well, I can control them. I can't make it. He's like, well, don't let them tell you that you're anything less.
You are a god among insects.
Yes. Yeah. That's very
Don't let
Magneto,
anyone
too. God.
tell you any differently.
God, that's so
Fucking
Magneto.
awesome. Yep.
Like,
Yep.
Are you guys going to start
Magneto?
walking around wearing Magneto was right shirts?
I mean, I love Magneto.
He's just an interesting character. Yeah.
Yeah, he is an interesting
I
character.
mean, he plays to a specific like id, you know.
He's fantastic in it. I wish you guys had read the Hickman era of X-Men because it's so good.
I never read a lot of X-Men. I watched the TV show. I didn't read a lot.
This would not be your X-Men then.
I get it. I'm into it. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Grant Morrison had a good run too on
Yes.
X-Men.
Yes.
I also would recommend,
I mean, they're a great.
because that was during a time which Magneto was friendly.
This is a great group of characters with depth, and they're all different.
And boy, howdy, is there depth in all the X-Men history.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot. As you said earlier, it's a lot.
It's more than I know.
I've read a lot of Wikipedia. I will say that.
There are certainly people that know a lot more than me that'll probably laugh if they listen to this at some things I've said.
Well, that's
But
why
I
we're
feel
not
like
gonna
fairly. I've been reading it for 30 some odd years.
You're our
right?
X-Men guy.
Yeah, you're our X-Men guy.
I'm not like Jeff is to Bond to the X-Men. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not that. Yeah. It's a little bit bigger of a commitment.
Well, start reading.
Yeah. Sure. So anyway, there is kind of a fracture of the group. Wolverine goes off and runs into Lady Deathstrike in the room where he was created. We haven't talked a whole lot about that. Honestly, I don't really care about that storyline in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, Stryker was the head of Weapon X, and he basically is like, yeah, I covered your bones in adamantium, and hey, look, we still got a whole pot of it over here boiling.
But he was.
Yeah, you got to keep it wet.
We gotta keep it wet.
He wasn't really the Weapon X guy, though, right? Like,
No.
But in Wolverine Origins, he is.
Well, yeah, because he's played by Danny Houston in that.
Yeah.
And he's like, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Oh, wait.
I'm loving it.
Colonel Stryker.
Whatever. What I do like is Lady Deathstrike's
whatever
death.
Oh yeah.
Because
I like when she goes thunk at the bottom of the.
That made my brain think about physics. I was like, "Whoa, that is some crazy shit." Because is she alive,
I don't know if her body would
or is she just incapacitated?
Well, no, her heart would stop because she's full of adamantium.
She's full of it.
It would close around it. She wouldn't be able to. She'd be dead, man.
Another thing I thought about was, what if the adamantium just went around her head like a mask, like made an iron mask kind of thing, you know, and then she could never get out of the mask. Like, well, that would fuck her up too, and that would be weird and interesting. But I was just thinking about all the ways you could kill someone who is impervious with adamantium.
She also has healing factor.
Right, that's what I was thinking about. It's like, man,
There's a lot of mutants in the world that's got healing factor.
Right. It used to be like Brian Cox says, or like Stryker says, like, we thought you were special. You're not.
You're right.
Yeah, it's like we got a fucking Deadpool over here. We got a fucking Lady Deathstrike.
I was just like fascinated with that idea of her death. It was like, ooh, that's weird,
grim,
gross way to.
It is a really cool fight scene because she stabs him like 1,000,000 times while she's underneath him, like,
and then he stabs her, and she climbs up on him and pulls him, and he's like, "Oh shit!" It's like, yeah, this is no good. Yeah,
but he takes the adamantium
pump
tattoo pen, the pump, and he just stabs her with it.
It's kind of a tragic death though, because she was under mind control.
Yeah, it's like
it sucks.
Yeah,
it does, but. Yeah, you went up against Wolverine.
I know, but it's also sad. It's sad.
Yeah,
she never had a chance.
She's also technically a bad guy in the.
She's a bad guy,
but
even when she's not under mind control. I know. Yeah. It is sad in that sense. Yeah. And then you have Jean Grey, Magneto, and Mystique going down to where Cerebro is to let him out, to let Xavier out, excuse me.
Gotta let him out, Cerebros.
And what is Storm is trying to save the children?
Yes.
That's classic Storm, too.
Yeah, Storm goes for the children with Nightcrawler.
Yes. And he bamps them all out.
What's the line from Wolverine when they first meet?
I don't care. I can't remember what he said.
It's something like, it's like, who's this guy? And it's I'm Kurt Wagner.
In the circus they call me
Nightcrawler. Yeah, and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. It's so great because it's the only time Nightcrawler's like excited is when he's trying to tell someone.
He feels like he's part of the team.
Nobody fucking wants to hear it.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
But he starts bamfing into the kids and pulling them, and they're like all scared of him at first.
How do you say that?
Wow.
Bamfing into the kids.
He's bamfing in the kids' cave. And all of a sudden they're like, oh no. And he's like, oh no, it's cool. And it's like, so he starts letting them out. Now here we get a cameo from Emma Frost because the soldiers come and
Emma Frost is there
for like a moment.
I knew that Jubilee but
the Diamond Girl is Emma Frost.
I did catch that.
That's her secondary mutation, is that she turns into a diamond.
I did not catch that. That is cool. All right.
Emma Frost is the shit. She gets a lot better too in the comics.
She's awesome. She's awesome. House of M. She's awesome. Yeah.
Yes. But so while Magneto, Mystique, and Jean Grey are making their way to Cerebro, Scott finally shows up again. He's like, I'm going to shoot you, motherfuckers. And Jean Grey, like, shoots them out of the way. And she has a fight with Scott.
And Magneto's like, this is one
lover's quarrel
that we cannot be a part of, or that we can't. Yeah.
I love that she's kind of like, I got this.
Yeah, you just go on.
There are things like I like in movies where they like it takes the stress out of how you watch a movie, right? And that's one of those things I love when it's like, all right, this problem we know is going to be solved by this character in this way, and their own set of camera shots, right? It's like it's just nice. It's just clean.
Yes,
it's a weird thing, but sometimes that gets convoluted in action movies.
But it's also Jean Grey fighting Scott,
which is great. I know.
Yeah, but it also kind of sucks.
But it's great. It's like the tension of that, right? It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah. It should be solitary, right? It's like, I got this. Don't worry about it. And she's going to do everything she can. That's the other thing about it, is it takes away some of those like lame ethical decisions, because you know that she's going to do everything she can to make sure that Scott gets through this okay. Right?
Well, that's so much so that she breaks her own leg.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because if you're paying attention, you know there's something within her that she cannot.
That's true.
Control. Yeah, she got a little flame flickering in her eyes.
That is true. Like there maybe is a hint of danger. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, she could have killed him if the Phoenix
with the power of love.
Huey Lewis showed up.
Huey Lewis was like, "That's the power of love."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, bam!"
It's cool.
He was like, "Pay me."
It's cool. She stops him. She breaks her own leg, and she also busts the dam while she's doing it.
That's the coolest fucking part.
Because it's like now we've got another problem.
What adds that time element?
Yep.
Everything. We already had one time element with the Cerebro, 2. Now we've got a time element with the dam. It's like, yes, stakes have gone up. It's awesome.
Yes, because even if you save Charles Xavier, you might get drowned.
Yep.
In the process.
But I also love that Stryker is concerned about it, because it could also like ruin his plans.
It could flood Cerebro before.
Exactly. Yep.
So like basically they do all eventually get to Charles, but Magneto is the one who makes the suggestion to Jason of what should happen, and he sends Mystique over as Stryker, and it's like, yeah, you're going to do it the other way around.
Well, the scene of them coming down and just like dismantling everyone that was in front of the door, and then him getting in, is just like, oh yeah, we hadn't seen Magneto and Mystique for a while.
Yep.
Oh shit. Yeah, it's really cool.
And him rearranging all this shit is super cool.
Oh yeah,
in there.
Well, because he built Cerebro with Charles.
Yeah,
that's how he knows so much about it. So he's rearranging what it can do and what it will find.
Yes.
And this time, it's the normals. It's the normies.
It's the normies.
Kill all humans.
I don't like that they call them humans. Should it be non-mutants?
Well, I mean, the only difference that they make is Homo sapien, Homo superior.
Homo superior. Yeah. So they call themselves Homo superior,
fair
not humans. Yeah.
I just feel like from a.
Oh my God, that would be a terrible mistake. It kills everyone. Yes. Oh no.
I would understand why Magneto would make the distinction, but I think somewhere
that's
earlier,
the difference between Magneto and Charles.
I think somewhere earlier though, Professor X calls them humans, and it's like, or even to say that command to Professor Xavier to call them humans would be, well, like, what do you mean? We're all humans, right? I feel like his conception of human would include all mutants.
They're probably a little bit of audience handling.
I'm a little bit in the weeds here, I know.
Yeah, but it's probably a little audience handling for people who are not because they would consider mutants not
the nuance
human.
Of it.
Yes, yes.
But I mean, the whole thing is like we don't want to dehumanize mutants, right?
Right.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, I get you.
Just a small note.
I'm going to send that to Brian right now.
What, you still talk to him?
No, I don't.
Wait, we ever talk to him?
Charles is set to kill all the Homo sapiens, not the Homo superiors now. And
just the non-mutants, I think, is the.
Oh, they could have just called them soups and saps.
Kill all the saps. Kill all the saps. All right, you take
all
over.
All of us are dead.
What's going on with Wolverine and Stryker?
So Wolverine, he catches up with Stryker, who's trying to escape, basically, because he thinks it's like, hey, you know what? If nothing, either all the humans are going to die, or all the, all the mutants are going to die, or my plan is ruined. I just got to get out of here.
I gotta beat Cheeks.
And so Wolvie is like, not so fast, bub. You're not vamoosing quite yet.
He does say that.
He does say.
I forgot he said that.
He says it. He says it's in the script. Anyway, he ties him to his own helicopter, doesn't he?
Yeah, he chains him up, and he's like, "You're not going anywhere, bub.
You're not going anywhere. If we're all gonna die, we're taking you with us." Yeah. So, and basically, he shows he could have very easily have just stuck him like a pig. But this is going to be a little bit more personal.
I think he also wants to come back for answers if he can.
Sure.
But he chooses to go save the mutants, the soups, because the dam is breaking, and he sees that from out there, and he's like, "Oh shit, the water channel is going to fill up and kill everyone. I got to go save them."
Yeah, one moment, I'll be back.
Yes,
and but the problem is that somebody does come back, and who does not have the same scruples.
No, Magneto comes out with Mystique, and he's like, "We're going to take this helicopter, and we're going to tie you to this fucking thing."
Yeah, and you're going to get hit by the water.
And also, Pyro had disobeyed orders and left the X-Jet, or the Blackbird, as Jeff has been saying, and Magneto's like, "All right, just fucking magnificent.
Let's go.
Piece of work is coming with us."
Yep. We're building a whole brand new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants here.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. So basically, inside we've got Storm and Nightcrawler need to bamf into Cerebro, grab Charles, and get out. And Nightcrawler's like, I can't do that. I have to see where I'm going,
or I'm going to get stuck in a wall.
Pretty much, that would be a horrible way to go.
Yeah.
But Storm is like, well, I have faith in you. That was a whole conversation they had previously about faith. Yeah,
good stuff.
And he's like, oh, okay.
That was a good scene.
Oh, okay. Well, I like this. I like you, Miss Storm Lady.
Well, she uses his Catholicism against him.
Yeah, pretty much.
To convince him to do this, yeah.
You know what? That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. So, yeah, they get in there, but then they have to face off against creepy little girl that Jason has created. And Storm's like, none of this is real. Just stick with me here for a minute. I
gotta freeze the shit out of this place. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she ends up using storm powers to freeze the place, which basically breaks the illusion and ultimately breaks Xavier out of the dream world. And basically Cerebro crumbles and Jason gets crumbled too. And Nightcrawler takes everybody out.
So that's a pretty powerful mutant to be able to...
Oh, yeah. He's Omega level. Yeah.
To be able to, like, manipulate Xavier like that. I mean,
he's kind of like Legion.
He's kind of like... Yeah, so, yeah.
Who's also Omega level. Probably stronger than Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. But they leave the poor guy in there, and he didn't do that.
He's a bad dude. He's a bad dude.
I guess he's a bad dude, but they leave him in there.
But you know what, though?
What's the backstory?
So here's the way I look at this. Okay, it's like mutants are fine; they're good people, but mutants with two different eye colors, they gotta go right out. That's where my acceptance ends.
I don't remember enough of it, but he was
a student of Charles.
He was a student of Charles, and I don't even remember if he was a bad kid.
Yeah.
Like, I'd have to go back and read God Loves Man Kills. Like,
is it all there? Like him as a student of Charles and everything?
Yeah. As I remember it.
I kind of want to read it now. I'm going to read it.
I mean, you should read anything Claremont. He's awesome.
Is it in your Marvel account, you think?
Might very well be, yes.
I'm going to read it.
Read it.
I'm guessing it will be because it's so popular. And
yeah.
But
it's pretty old.
82. Yeah.
He is used in a similar way, if I remember correctly, to manipulate Charles to use Cerebro.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a rigging of Cerebro to do this thing. Yeah. So basically Wolverine comes back in and it's like, yeah, guys, you don't want to go down this way. And he like closes off the one path because it's all flooded now.
Yeah.
He's like, we got to find another way out. They do eventually get out. And Wolverine realizes that Magneto has moved Stryker and he's carrying, Artie, and he's like, you're gonna save that thing? You think that thing's a human or, whatever? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to take my chances with my people and not your types. So have fun drowning horribly because that's what's going to happen. It's what does happen. But
it almost seemed like Magneto had already killed him when he like choked him with the chain, right?
Oh no, he's just like plastered up against that. Yeah, he's in bad shape already. He was. He's ready to, they're all ready to basically get into the X-Jet, which Rogue has sort of piloted over to them.
Crashed it into them.
I love that. They've got to do something, right? Yeah. She crashed it over there without.
And she's like white knuckling it. It's like won't let go of the steering column.
I'm glad Rogue gets two scenes here, like her subduing Pyro and bringing the jet over, but she's kind of underutilized too.
Yeah, she is.
And this one's for the adults. For them to have to solve.
Yes, exactly. She does some cool stuff in this one, though. Much more than the first one, where she's basically just the damsel. Yeah.
Yes.
Again, she's just playing the Kitty Pryde from her first few appearances.
Or the X-23 from Old Man Logan. Like, there's always a little girl with Wolverine. What?
Yep.
No.
Ruh-roh.
He had a whole mini-series with Kitty Pryde in the 80s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he's had one right now, I think.
Oh, he does? Cool.
Yeah.
So he basically, they get into the X-Jet, Blackbird, whatever, and they're like, all right, well, let's go. Uh-oh, power cut out. And I think Khan is over there about to blow up a super weapon.
Oh, no.
We need to have somebody sacrifice themselves. Oh God, I love this type of ending.
I kind of want to watch Wrath of Khan now.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I kind of want to watch Last Stand again because I don't know how much of it follows.
It gets goofy. I feel like
it's pretty weird.
I remember not liking it.
Yeah,
it's not good.
Weird. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's not
I remember
good.
not liking it.
But like she's starting to hear something, and she gets the impression it's like, there's only one way to fix this. I've got to go out there and lift the X-Jet up.
Yeah, because they can't get it going. They're like, oh man, fucking Rogue fucked this shit up.
Blame the child.
Yeah. But Jean basically gets the X-Jet off the ground and gets taken by the water.
He even gives it back power just like Spock does. God damn, I love this type of ending.
Oh yeah, it is.
She blocks out
the water
Nightcrawler from getting rescuing her. That's another part of it, right? It's like there's that barrier.
She's not letting me. Yeah.
That barrier of like no, I've got to do this.
She's controlling the jet and keeping Nightcrawler out.
She's tapping into all of Jean and then some.
Yep, and then she communicates to Charles, who then tells everybody inside that it's like
good.
It's not going to be good times here for a little bit.
Yeah, and then she gets covered in the water, and Logan's like, she's gone, and Scott's like, no, and they hug, and he keeps saying she's gone, and I'm like, I'm gonna cry too. I love Jean Grey.
And I'm thinking like you could do a couple circle backs, you know.
I mean, she was quite obviously dead.
Was she?
Yes.
Maybe.
I mean, that's a lot of water.
Yeah. I mean, do a couple circle backs. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's worth a couple circle backs. What do you have what do you have to lose at that point? You're already like in the jet.
Let's say they did.
Yeah, Stryker's not going to be around anymore.
Let's say they did do circle back. She's still fucking dead.
We'll just pretend.
She may be way the fuck over there now, too. That water gushed in.
Yeah.
Like, she may be way over there. So you don't know where she's at.
She might be in the
anymore.
South Pacific now.
I'm just saying. Do a couple circle backs.
Okay. Well, they did circle backs and they found out she's dead. But then they have a moment where, so earlier Magneto had been watching Once and Future King, or reading, excuse me, Once and Future King. And now Charles Xavier is talking to his students about the Once and Future King. And he kind of looks out the window and he's like, I think everything is going to be all right. Because he has reconnected with Jean Grey in his mind.
Yeah.
And then they have the really cool, like, exciting as fuck as a fan of X2 when you're an X-Men fan and you see the Phoenix go over the ocean. It's like, oh, fuck, yes. But you're also like, oh, Dark Phoenix. Like, oh, who knows what's going to happen.
No. But she also does the preamble from the first movie.
Yes, she does. She does.
So again, like Spock doing These Are the Voyages. I love it.
There is a glorious mapping in that final shot. It's glorious. It's just like, man. No,
is
it's
it
a matte
what's
painting.
in
And I
the
know
background?
I'm not supposed to know it's a matte painting, but it's beautiful. It's art. It's artistry, and it's like it just makes me hanker for a simpler time
for a real movie
effects and film. Yes,
with bright colors and I mean, even though most of this movie is also gray,
I love it.
While it's still a very flat color wise, but it pops still.
Yes. Yes.
And that's the glory of
the way it's lit, the way people are lit. It's just, especially like the scene in the mansion and that school. The way that's lit is glorious. All the stuff at the dam, the way it's lit is amazing. Like it's just a really good looking movie.
Mm-hmm. And Professor Logan was very proud of that matte painting.
Yeah, he made it.
Yes, he made it. He made it.
Oh, he made it.
Yeah, he made it. It was the art department.
I thought maybe Artie made it. But.
Artie only knows how to stick his tongue out at kids. He doesn't know how to do much of anything else.
Right.
He's learning. He's got to figure out his power.
Although I bet, since he has the little fork tongue, I bet he could unwrap like a Starburst without his hands.
He probably has some like super. He probably has some like super smell, some shit.
Chuck, what's he got? I don't know much.
I can't remember what the fuck Artie does.
Hang on a second.
Is that an X-Man?
Artie Maddox. Yeah, he's from the New Mutants, Sarah.
Oh well, we don't need dead air. I really like this movie, like a lot.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think it's probably in my top 5 superhero movies.
I mean, I think we talked about this.
I know.
Was that on air at the beginning?
Yeah,
I was agreeing with you. I think it's it kind of reinvigorated my superhero fandom a little bit in some ways. Yeah,
it's made me kind of want to dive into some X-Mans. I've been calling it X-Mans to Susan because it's
X-Mans
funny. Yeah, it's like I want to watch some X-Mans.
Watch some X-Mans.
You're like,
she's like, no.
In the Jimmy's John's commercials.
Oh yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I was wrong. Artie is part of X-Terminators. He was living with the X Factor team, but there's
a lot of mutants.
Yes, there are.
Artie's mutation and people. Sorry, go ahead.
Artie's mutation gives him a lumpy pink form with no nose and renders him mute. He has no real powers. He's just a lumpy pink guy.
I think he can project like his thoughts.
That might be,
to people. That's how he communicates with them because he can't talk.
What happens to Artie when he's struck by lightning?
Same thing as everything else.
I was never a big fan of the Exterminators. I did read the New Mutants, and especially leading up to Cable X-Force shit back in the 90s. That was good stuff.
Man, before everything became guns and pouches.
Man, there was some good Cable stuff in X-Men 97. Fuck, that's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Good old Nathan Summers, man. Oh man, Exterminators, they're kind of an interesting team because you got Leech on that team, Boom Boom's over there.
Boom Boom's rad.
Yeah,
Boom Boom's rad.
Boom Boom, yo.
Yeah, so 4th movie in comic book month is really good.
Yes. Yeah, I think we've had a really good
honestly,
month.
This is my favorite one.
I'm still gonna give Spider-Man 2 number 1, but
I would rank them to date. I would rank them X2, probably Scott Pilgrim.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I'm probably X2 Spider-Man or like 1A, 1B.
And then Spider-Man, and then V for Vendetta.
Well, you want to give it a shot for what?
But they're all pretty like close. But honestly, X2 is a head above the rest of them for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to wait until next week to get my final.
Well, that's fair. We'll revisit next week. But what is
next week?
Next week we're gonna get dour. Maybe not as fun as X2 or Spider-Man 2 or Scott Pilgrim, but it's The Crow. 1994 is The Crow. I actually wanted to pick this last year because it was 30th anniversary, but that's all right.
This movie is dour on us on several levels. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we got to talk about
the whole creation. Yeah. I mean, the creation of the character itself is sad. But anyway, It's a deep one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know how to finish things on a maybe.
Chuck's not going to have fun next week.
Chunk,
fun this week,
Chunk,
but not.
Chunk isn't going to have any folk next week.
I don't know. I don't know, Chunk. This one might surprise you.
I did not say Chunk.
I did. I fucked it up, and I just kept
I
going.
just wanted to make sure.
No. I fucked it up, and then I was like, "We're sticking with it."
Hey, you guys.
No, that's not
Baby.
Oh, my bad. I'll do the truffle
shuffle.
shuffle as we leave here.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, Chunk is not going to have any fun. I don't know about Chuck, but Chuck, we've got The Crow next week. How's that?
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, so go over to filmseizure.com. July 30th will be that episode of The Crow. You can also find out all the places you can follow us, do all that business. And also on Monday at filmseizure.com, new episode of Monster Mondays. I've got 3 episodes of Tales from the Dark Side.
Nice.
My Ghost Rider, the Vampire, Hush, and the Grave Robber. Grave Robber is a fun one. Anyway, so, I mean, they're all 3 pretty good, but Grave Robber is especially fun. So, yeah, filmseizure.com to find all of that stuff. This upcoming Friday at my website, bmovieanima.com, you can read a review of Primal Rage.
That has a really fun ending.
It's kind of a fun movie. When the crazy frat bros,
Yes, skeleton.
oh my God, when the one guy kills the one dude and all the faucet, like the faucet head mask guy, and the blood's coming out of the faucet at the Halloween party.
Yeah.
But then they also beat up that one guy's car for just like putting down their skeleton
It's so
mask.
good.
It's
Like,
so hilarious.
For an hour, that movie sucks, and for 30 minutes, I'm like, I love this movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Primal Rage this Friday at bmovieanima.com. So I say we all give everybody our fantastic X-Men names that everybody says calls us by.
Okay.
All right. Well, until then, I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Chunk. and
Jason's friend.
I'm Jason Hoff. And you have been listening to Film Seizure.
We'll wait for him to come back. Where does he go? There he is. Okay. All right. Well, we were right at the end, Jason. So we're going to do our sign off. So
Jesus, man.
we're all going to give our names, our mutant names. Okay.
Our mutant names?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Not really, but okay, let's go.
All right. Until next week, I have been Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Chunk.
So wait, what is your mutant name, Jeff?
I gave it. Shut up.
Just Jeff? I guess I'm Jarmo the Magnificent, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.
I think I might stick with the Chuck one that he did.
Yeah, I pretended I was you.